Kevin, can I spin the question and ask, what did you get in trouble for behind the scenes?
Ooh.
From either church officials or someone?
Pastor Reimer.
I want to
I
know
don't
this.
remember getting a lot of trouble except for like if kids got mad at each other for something. Like,
Oh,
I mean, I don't remember Dave being upset about the airport thing. So, because I mean, Greg and Christy obviously went home and said we had to run in with security. I think Dave just kind of rolled his eyes about that. I just remember sometimes there'd be like personality conflicts would be and those would be exhausting because it's like, I don't know, as an adult, like how do you resolve a conflict between two 15-year-olds that see something totally different? And so those would be the things. So Dave was a great boss. Like he'd be like, well, probably shouldn't do that again. So there were people upset about Waterdeep. That was the one event I did that some people were upset about.
seriously?
Yeah.
Why?
What about it? That was amazing.
Yeah, it was
I
thought it was like one of my best events. Like brought in lots of people and was really fun.
Yeah.
And I thought it's like they had good music and they said meaningful things, but some people just didn't like the vibe, so they didn't think it was Christian.
I still listen
but
to
like
them.
that wasn't Dave. Dave was like super supportive. Like that's good. That, we want things like that's the kind of thing we want to do is reach people. So yeah,
it was the drums, right?
No, I think it was just like some people were dancing or there were some kind of gothy looking people or something, and somebody was upset about that. And then you know how it goes. Somebody's upset and they tell people who weren't there, and they're upset and they're like, you weren't even there. but so that would be the one time I remember that there was like some conflict. But I mean, we could resolved itself okay. But there was just some people really bothered by that. It's like we're not going to have Waterdeep every week, but we would like to have them more often. So
they
had them one time. So
they were a great outreach. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I mean, we did those coffee houses, and we usually have youth group a little bit bigger those nights, but it was like quite a bit bigger. So
were
those
you
guys are still around, by the way. So
yeah, they are.
CD or two.
Amazon Music, you can listen to them. I think on the unlimited plan because I have like a playlist of them that I bring up every so often.
They kind of do a song or two every now and then, so
yeah,
I kind of put it out there. So
Kevin, were you the one that booked the band that I was in, Codaphone, or was that your predecessor? Because we came to the church, the college band I was in, we were like new wave, wore jumpsuits and all that.
It wasn't me. I would have liked that though.
Rugs were out by that time. Jumpsuits were.
That'd have been really fun. So.
And I have to do a callback to Greg Reimer for introducing me to They Might Be Giants.
Nice.
That was one of the first CDs I ever bought.
Which one was it? Was it Flood?
Flood, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, that's their high watermark. They have some other good albums, but yeah, was that C-Bar Ranch or
El-Bar C?
Yeah. And that's also where I think, Kevin, you introduced me to the game, which I love, where you have like the riddle and you have to answer yes, no, maybe, or irrelevant questions. So like bell rings, man dies, bell rings, and we're just ask questions. And we sat around and did that. I love that. I still use that on long car rides and stuff like that.
Nice.
Did we have pillow fights too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Moby. Okay. So now that we've got to pillow fights at camp.
This has been Matt's been wanting this topic for 3 episodes.
Right. So James, do you remember this? Because I seem to remember. Okay, so for those of you that don't know what Moby is, Kevin, would you describe?
So I would take on all the boys in the cabin, but I got to use my special sleeping bag, which was basically my jeans and all my clothes in a sleeping bag.
Well, like it started out not very big because you hadn't worn any of your clothes yet. So
right, it was my dirty clothes.
The dirty clothes. So you got this bigger and bigger thing. But I seem to remember you pegging James in the kidney with Moby, and he had to shoot off to the bathroom because that like started a chain reaction.
I just remember the womp feel of that thing, just smacking. And I I don't know why, but I also remember Kevin wouldn't shower. He would just take baby powder.
What?
I remember that.
Oh man.
So this was Moby was the name of a bag
His pillow.
of tightly packed bag of clothes that you would hit people with.
So it
well,
Yeah,
was-
because we have a pillow fight just
it
to
was
get
my
it over
dirty
with.
pillow
pillows. It
fights.
got more tightly packed as the week went on. It was a pretty even sleeping bag or a pillow at the beginning of the week, but by the end of the week, it was like swinging Thor's
Okay.
hammer.
Thor's hammer.
Okay, so that answers that question, but I still don't like. There's something you got mud in your eyes somehow. That's all I took from that. What actually happened there? Like
Oh,
with
the
you,
mud story?
Daniel? Yeah,
That was mud pit volleyball. Totally different activity.
So
Totally
you
different,
just
dangerous activity.
you got
Keep 'em
spiked.
straight, Greg.
He spiked the volleyball. No, I know, but I'm going back. I'm sorry, I'm jumping back.
That's okay.
We'll go back to the mud story.
So
By
you
the way, I
spiked the
apologize again,
volleyball
Danny.
covered with mud, and it hit you in the
Oh.
face.
Oh no, that
Volleyball is a
was
cover.
only ever played for like 20 minutes, and then it was just a mud fight.
Oh,
Oh.
so you just got hit by a ball of mud.
Yeah, so everyone started slinging mud after like 5 points, and like I turned
Oh.
around right as mud came at my
Oh,
face,
no.
and so I didn't have the reflexive time to blink, so it hit me in the face, and my eyes closed around it, and so I had
Oh.
sandy mud packed in
Oh,
behind my eyelids.
Ugh.
So we had to go to
Okay.
the emergency room and get it dug out.
I bet that was
I remember
fun.
being at the
It's
hospital
like
with you. It was really painful.
every get together with kids, like that kind of thing could happen at any given event like that. That's just random bad luck, I think.
I
Yeah.
jacked up.
I
I
would
jacked.
say the thing that made that worse, or the thing I would avoid, is that it was getting dark, and I don't think people could see as well. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a lot of mud things, but I think it was starting to get dark, and I think that made it like, I think your action time isn't as quick when you get the dark. So
Yeah.
I would think
Yeah.
that would be something I would say.
Okay.
I would do a mud bowl again in a heartbeat. I'd probably do it in the middle of the day. So, and maybe tell the story of Daniel to warn people a little bit, but I think it being in the dark made it worse. But so
Yeah.
Maybe
that
get
was extreme. I'm not,
safety
that's like in the
glasses
emergency
out.
room. I was with you at the emergency room. It was extremely painful.
Yeah.
And then your eyes heal really fast. Like 2 days later, I was really worried about your eyes.
I
yeah.
can see.
Yeah, scratched corneas, and yeah.
Oh.
Kevin, I hear that you're holding on to some guilt, and I forgave you decades ago.
Well,
It
thank
wasn't.
you.
I never even blamed you. I blamed whoever that rascal was that threw the mud.
Well, thank you. The other thing
My
I remember,
little
Daniel,
kitty,
is
though, works
you're
just
trying to
fine.
promote See You at the Pole, and you wore the See at the Pole shirt for 14 straight days without washing it to school.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I had tally marks on it.
Was
Yeah.
that high school?
Yeah, high school event. Yeah.
So,
I think you strongly encouraged that, Kevin. It was even your idea.
yep. And the other youth groups thought it was awesome. Like, that was the best See You at the Pole ever. And they were just because one kid wore a stinky shirt for 14 days.
I don't think it was 14. I think it was maybe 7. I don't know.
Was it stinky? Did you work to football practice?
Oh gosh, no. I mean,
Okay.
football's
Those
horrible,
shirts,
yeah.
those shirts were horrible because there used to be a guy, this guy would never wash his undershirt. And by the end, it was cardboard. It would just sit in his locker, like fully upright. You could fling it.
So much salt.
Did you
Ugh.
both
Yeah.
play football?
Yeah.
Both of you
You
played
were on the line,
football
weren't you?
in high school?
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
I
we-
played rugby and I swam and dove in college as well.
Oh, cool. That's right. Did that mean you guys got out of marching band?
Well, James wasn't in marching band. I was, but I never got out of practice. I just got out of playing on Fridays.
Gotcha. Well, James, didn't you play something too?
Yeah, I was in orchestra, so double bass,
Oh,
violin,
okay.
and then double bass. Yep.
Gotcha. Cool.
I remember you were playing like rock and roll, and all of a sudden you discovered classical bass. James, do you remember that evolution?
Yeah, I was playing violin, and I was kind of ready to, quote unquote, quit music, and got on guitar and stuff. Greg came over to my house one time, taught me, I think, a couple different licks,
Nice.
and then bass was really, I started in school, and that kind of saved me in many ways because I was able to get in jazz band. I was able to get out of orchestra and go down and play with the band. Played in the orchestra pit. And then, I kind of fully transferred over, and I'm still taking piano lessons, I think, with Marilyn early on in that process.
Mm-hmm.
And then double bass by high school, and the teacher that I had, he's still at Wichita State University, but I'd show up for lessons and, he'd be on electric bass playing Flea licks, Red Hot Chili Pepper licks, and I
Oh,
just remember being,
nice.
just like, man, this is so amazing, and then he would, put down and play classical music, and music is music, regardless of style. And I have lots of memories. I remember playing with Evan LaRue. He had a
Oh,
Chuck Berry cover band that played at Riverfest. And I
oh,
remember
cool.
having a little bit of an identity crisis because I didn't listen to a lot of Chuck Berry at the time, but the chord changes aren't difficult. But I'm a music reader, and I never just use my ears purely per se. And so I was really struggling following the chord changes. And Evan was like, hey, it's just the one, the four, the one, type of a thing. And I remember thinking, like, what does it mean to be a musician? Obviously, there's many avenues to it, and just lots of respect for however you come at it.
I just remember you're rock and rolling, and then all of a sudden you kind of your world just kind of got really big. Like you
Youth,
loved everything.
yeah, youth orchestra really helped with that. The first time I played, Tchaikovsky Fourth Symphony, it sounds like, we're playing exactly what, the recordings sound like. It just, my world exploded from there. Yeah.
So I had supper with Susan Lamb, and she had you guys in middle school, and she told me to tell you hello.
She
This
was
is
our sixth grade English teacher. She used to put me in the hall well, I put myself in the hall almost.
she didn't bring that up. We had supper with her last Thursday, and we were just
My
talking about
best,
what we're doing. And I told her we did a podcast with about my old youth group on Monday, and I said I'm going to talk to the Mick boys. She goes, I had them in class at Santa Fe, and she said
I,
tell
Oh,
them hello. She had nothing bad to say about you guys.
I
That's
feel
amazing.
so badly because of the way I acted I mean, my best friend was in that class, and he was reading Stephen King, It novel. This is sixth grade, and
what?
we'd start
Sixth
class because he
grade?
would circle all of the cuss words. And that's how we would start class, was just laughing over these
None
books.
of that
So,
came up over hamburgers. So
oh,
she told me to tell you hello. She then
wow.
went to Heston, and now she's retired.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful,
Well,
patient person.
yeah, and Kevin, I think that's a really important point. I mean, this is a Yak podcast, but this is community, right? Like, Greg was like our older brother in so many ways, and Matt, you were like our older classmate, just a couple years older, and
Yeah,
and
Jessica, just a couple years younger. Yep.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
from 10 years old through high school and beyond, you've been a pull of our lives, and I think that's really important to note. Yak is just one expression of that facet of how you've influenced people's lives, and how you continue to care and contribute, and you've brought us back together.
thanks. So yeah, I just thoroughly love connecting with you guys. I mean, just yeah, I wish I like dream of a day we'll just all get together again. So just to hang out.
Kevin,
So,
what can I ask? What was your journey? So you asked what our journey was after we graduated in 1998. What was your journey? From how long were you at Grace, and then what have you done since?
I was at Grace for almost 9 years, 8.5 years, and then I was an adjunct at the college for a little bit, and also worked at Heston College, and I also like worked at Mirror Incorporated for a year, just as like a grant job, and then I spent like 23 years at the college, and so I was a youth ministry professor, campus pastor. Then I did some other graduate work. I don't have a doctorate, but I did some post master's work. Just a 2 year college, you need a certain amount of hours to teach, and so I did that so I could teach psych, and I taught psych for 14 years, and now I work at a nursing home where I try to make sure people have health care. Um, People go on Medicaid, and we try to raise the gap to stay here. So
He's
that's what I do.
he's he's taking care of my family. I have two
So,
people
so,
at that nursing
Mm.
home.
so,
Yeah.
so
Well,
a lot of
Kevin,
folks run out of money when they get to nursing homes. So we anonymously HIPAA, Daniel. We don't know who those folks are, but we try to raise dollars to help them stay here. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
So there's a team of
Oh,
us that do different kinds of projects to raise funds, grants, talking to people, events, those kind of things. So yeah. So
So what was your last official role at Grace? What
I
year was
was
that?
youth pastor till like October of '98. So your senior year, because you graduated in '99. So I would have been there for James's graduation, and then I was working a mirror in Heston College most of '98, '99 school year. So
Hmm.
I was not
Who,
there.
who who succeeded you?
Raleigh.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Now I remember that transition as a senior.
But
Yeah,
I was around. Like I came on your ski
yeah,
trip. Like
yeah.
I would like reappear periodically. So and then Des lived with us that year too. So like
Oh yeah.
we would do parent stuff kind of for her. Like so and that's also the year the Titanic came out and she watched that a lot. Maybe only once, but it seemed like a lot.
So Kevin, you were really a kid whisperer. I mean, in many ways, in particularly for my field, I love middle school. It's my favorite age to teach, but so much of it is just being in touch with your inner seventh grade self, and you somehow were able to let us be chaos, but also got us to quiet down and to have, we have the beat down time and then we'd have the quiet time. And I don't know how you wrangled that or what your connection was or how you've always been that way, but it's something that's really inspired me and something I think about a lot. Every time I work with kids is just trying to figure out their energy and trying to figure out how I can kind of move them while keeping the joy and everything.
Thanks. I'm still a junior high sponsor at my church. Like I'm a team of 4 or 5 people, and we still do junior high, and still do try to do crazy stuff, and calm them back down. But man, I don't. We've done 3 of these interviews, and people hardly ever remember anything you taught, but they remember how they felt about being part of the group. And I think that's. I mean, we talk about that all the time. Like like we're making memories, not trying to cram information in their head. We're trying to make really good memories, and if they love being together and love being at church, that's gonna carry them a long time through life versus cramming information. Not that we don't teach stuff, but
Yeah.
That's the Maya Angelou quote. People will forget what you told them, yada yada, but they'll never forget how you felt. And I think that's an important distinction. For Matt and Greg, they were already more mature by the time they met you, and when we met you, we were still like chugging Mountain Dew and hitting each other in the dark, and that was very formative.
So we always ask, like, what are you excited about in your life now? Like, this is like our wind up question. Like, what are you excited about? Like, what are you doing now that you're excited about? Like, you're proud about, you're excited about, gives you joy. What's like, what gets you going? And so.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll start for this one. First off, thanks Matt and for starting the I Survived Yak page. I guess probably a couple of years ago now, and so every once in a while posts come up, and then the Yac-ity Yak. This is fantastic, and it's just wonderful seeing everyone on the screen. And Greg, I'll never forget how you play guitar with your thumb around. Is that still a Greg staple for playing guitar?
Only when I play an F. Never otherwise.
What about your band, Greg? What's the name of your band?
Damn it, Jim.
Yeah. Damn it, Jim.
It's a Star Trek reference.
Damn it, Jim.
But also our lead singer's named Jim.
So maybe I would love to hear your music. So you need to get this. We need to get this linked to below the episode.
Yeah, I have a thread with my guys right now to like get on the stick to record our material because we don't have any recorded material.
But you have your own solos.
True. Sorry?
You have some of your own solo stuff.
Oh yeah. But
you're the one playing on the theme song for the podcast.
Yeah, that's me.
The band sounds great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I got married 9 years ago. We just celebrated our 9th anniversary. So my wife, Elizabeth Moore, is from Kentucky originally and came to Cornell for the vet program, graduated valedictorian, then got a PhD and then a postdoc, and now works at Cornell. And we have a 2.5-year-old son.
Congratulations.
And so, yeah, thank you. So his name is Silas, and it's just, getting to children maybe a little bit older, but absolutely love him and love watching him grow. And so that's obviously my number one, and just kind of introducing him to the world. And he's really kind of at that age now where he can focus for a little bit longer, and it's just really a special thing. And so, but outside of that, I do a lot of bicycling. gardening. We bought 13 acres out here, so I went from owning 0 tractors to 2 pretty quickly. It's a pretty
Wow.
fast, slippery slope. And so, yeah, I mean, those are really, I guess, a few of my big hobbies. So yeah, Daniel.
Yeah, so like proud of and excited. I think I'm really proud that I had the opportunity to do some big travels and big adventures that I think a lot of people just don't think are possible or don't prioritize or just never think about. And it's just kind of pulling the trigger, and I did it. And so going international was really big, and I don't know I don't know what convinced me or whatever else, but I did that, and that was very significant in my personal growth. And I'm really proud of all the personal growth and opportunity I've had for that kind of psychosocial emotional growth. I think that I was a rambunctious junior hire when Kevin met me. Um, my wife and I, we foster cats. We're up to about 100 now. We haven't had any lately, but we've had litters, and we have our fur babies. We don't have any human children, and probably won't ever. And I'm really proud of my teaching. I very intentionally eschewed tier 1 research institutions that just want to get grant money, and I get to work with students that are making a difference in their community, and had never imagined themselves being in college. So that's very tangible and very satisfying. And then it's like a hobby level.
First gen
Yeah,
college
yeah,
is a very real hurdle for people. If they don't know,
Yep.
somebody hasn't blazed that trail, it's really hard. So,
yeah. And helping them with that, yeah, very satisfying. And then hobby level, my big hobby is mountaineering, and so I've climbed hundreds of peaks all over the Pacific Northwest and got most of the state high points, and do lots of that. I teach that as well. Every year I organize that for a mountain rescue organization for safety, and work with the Mazamas in Portland still as a climb leader. And so I go on big trips every summer. It's getting less and less as I get more and more into administrative roles of my responsibility. I'm making good money now that I'm forced into this director role, but I've been working like 60, 70-hour weeks for the past 4 weeks, and that's not very fun. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
To kind of piggyback on what Daniel said, I really love my job. I love working with kids. I get to travel around the country. I conduct honor ensembles all over the country. This year I've got, I'll be in Hawaii and Boston and, kind of in New York and Florida and lots of different places, and being able to inspire future educators to do that also, because, kind of tying it back to Yac is, kids just want to be loved, and they want to feel important, and they want to be encouraged. They want to succeed, in playing music. And so for me, when I'm working with students, that's my number one goal, is that I'll meet them wherever they're at, doesn't matter, and I'll want to encourage them and just show them that someone cares and someone believes in them. And it's very much, at least what I felt, was kind of your philosophy with Yac.
Thanks. That's really cool. So really
Nice.
cool. So I got one last question for you. Have you guys gone on any moped trips together on one moped, trying to climb a mountain together, like going up a hill together really slow? Because there's a story here. One of you needs to share the story about.
I think I saw a movie
Hang on,
about
I
that.
was gonna say Dumb and Dumber.
No,
Can I share this
no,
story,
no,
Daniel,
this
or do
is
you
the
want to
mixed
tell it?
version. So I
Daniel, do you want me to
Let's
tell it,
get
or do you
on.
want to
Let's
tell
get
it?
on.
a wedding reception you had. I visited when you had a wedding reception back here right after you guys got married.
So Daniel had moved to Portland, and this was in his first year or two there. And so this is when he had moved back from Japan. So I had flown out to visit him, but he was really into mopeds at the time. But it was one of the 49cc mopeds. We're not talking, a scooter.
30 tops.
Okay.
Like
That's with
32.
one person in a tailroom.
Yeah.
And so we were in Portland, and Daniel doesn't live near downtown. So, and it's a one person, mopeds are for one people. So Daniel was escorting me around town, with me hanging on the back with my feet out to the side, but we're both wearing helmets. And so so Daniel is up on the handlebars like this, and I'm leaning off the back, because every time we'd hit a bump, my mask would hit the back of his head. He would slam forward and my head would go backwards. And so Daniel wanted to show me some mansion at the top of a hill or something. And Daniel's like, well, we got 2 ways to get there. We got the slow way or the embarrassing way. And I was like, let's just do the embarrassing way, which was basically vertical. There's lines of cars behind us, and you could almost walk faster than the two of us.
Was it
Yeah.
the
You vouch for
Piddick
this story,
Mansion?
Daniel?
It was Piddick Mansion, and we were riding a Honda Ruckus. So Matt, you need to pull up a picture of a Honda Ruckus. It is,
Okay.
And then imagine
it's almost a toy,
with
but
two full-size humans
yeah.
in helmets.
Do you still
Oh,
have
wow.
that?
No, I sold it for it was like a 150, which I would actually take on the interstate because that would go up to 65. But it was amazing in Portland because you park anywhere, right? It's a city, and I could just pull in. I could literally pull between cars. Parking was never a problem.
Right.
But yeah, very dangerous. I will not ride two wheels again. It's just way too dangerous.
Especially at 20 miles an hour with your brother on the back. So we lost Matt.
No, I'm still
in the
here.
dark.
My monitors went to sleep.
All right.
I know we're at the end or time, but Matt and Greg, I mean, particularly as our elders, do you have any memories of James and I as snot-nosed kids?
Trying to.
I had forgotten the kidney one, Matt. That's a good one.
So I remember thinking you guys were like little, like devils, like just causing chaos. And I remember by the time I left, I was like, those boys rounded out really well.
Well,
But that shaped how I look at kids even to this day. Is like when I see a little boy and he's just like, I'm like, Daniel Mick, just think about Daniel Mick.
Well, the rhymers were very generously patient.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. Yeah, the memory about doing Star Wars with you came up. And for some reason, I thought maybe, James, I thought you were in marching band with us for some reason. Maybe
I used to come out to the field and play electric bass when you were still there.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
you guys were so busy in high school, swimming.
Yeah.
Music.
And Daniel, were you one of the football players that would? So, for those of you who don't know, at the Newton High School parking lot, they had painted a football field onto the parking lot so we could practice marching. Well, you're not supposed to park your cars there, and sometimes people would park their cars in our way. So the football players would get around the car, would pick it up, and move it to another parking spot outside of our practice area.
Nice.
Did you ever do that, Daniel?
I don't remember, but I definitely, it's possible for sure. Yeah.
I can just
I was just going to ask
imagine.
you guys, since you both played line, do you think you could play for the Bears? Because our line is terrible right now. I don't know if you follow pro football, but we have the worst.
High football was not very good when we played.
Were you guys before or after the Kazadis? The Kazadis were really good. The Kazadi era.
Are those Bears players?
No, there was a Kazadi.
Oh, he played at Tulsa, 1991. I think he graduated.
Yeah, I mean, there was a string of like really good, and the rest, the Thaw Boys and the Kazadis, like there were some really good athletes.
Yeah, that was yeah, like 1991, I think. Yeah.
This was at Newton football.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Kazadi played. That's right. He went to Tulsa and was pretty good.
And then he went to Saints or something. Really good he tore his bicep off he just ripped the tendon or something. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Ugh. But I mean, just like an insane, weightlifter and everything else guy, that just was all in regardless of pain or whatnot. So yeah.
And there were some Fall Boys that were really good at that era. That was before you guys. So.
Farm boys, corn-fed Kansas farm boys.
Yeah, they were a couple of years older. Janae Thaw was in my class, the daughter, and then they attended our father's church. We lived in a split household, so we went, Protestant with my mom and then Catholic with my dad. So on Sundays we split up. So. Yeah.
I was going to ask about your sister and brother. Where are they at?
Kelly's in Bloomington Normal in Illinois, and she has two daughters. What's that?
Is he a professor too? Music professor?
They own a restaurant.
Oh, Oh,
Oh,
I didn't
cool.
know that. That's
And then
cool.
have two daughters, one senior in college, one senior in high school. And then our oldest brother, Chris, lives 4 blocks from my parents. The prodigal son returned home. And he has two daughters, one in high school and one, I think, in fourth grade.
And are your folks still in Newton?
Still in the same house. Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
I used to see your mom pretty regular, but I haven't seen her for a while. So COVID kind of changed people's patterns. Like I used to see your mom all the time, but I haven't seen her for a while.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, she unfortunately had a stroke
Oh.
actually in 2020, and she's still out bicycling and walking and
Oh,
things for
it's-
her health, but
That's
is
good.
not working and not out and about as much anymore.
Marilyn and her used to do a lot of stuff together, like professionally, and then would see each other and visit
Yeah.
and stuff. And COVID just changed some patterns. So well,
Yeah.
But to brag on Maryland real quickly, she is the first district.
female judge in Harvey County, or the 9th district, which is Harvey and McPherson County. First, and she also then became chief judge. So she's the first judge and then the first chief judge of the 9th district. So
And
We're
then,
try-
And then-
she,
and then fun thing is like last year, she swore in Elizabeth as an attorney, and we had this little private ceremony with just a couple of like Elizabeth's mentor from church and like a couple of professors and her soccer coach from college, and just kind of thought we were having this private little ceremony, and then 2 or 3 different people from the press came in to take pictures and stuff. We're like, why are you like here and what's going on? They go, this has only happened 3 times in the country that a mother has sworn in a daughter.
Wow.
Oh wow!
So you think about it,
That's
how many
amazing.
women are judges, and then how many women have daughters who are attorneys. I mean, someday that'll be a lot, but right now it's not a lot. And so, it made the local news, and then made the Wichita news, and so that was pretty cool for both of them. So, and it was
We're
fun to
trying-
watch.
We're
Fun
trying to
watch.
get. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was like, we're trying to get Marilyn to be like the next Judge Judy.
She'd be so kind though.
Just Magistrate Maryland, and I could be like Rusty the bailiff. I got the whole
Like
show
comedic
figured out.
relief.
With
No,
no-
you've thought about this before, haven't you?
I've thought a lot about it.
you have Moby
Well,
at the
I read
ready.
this like network TV, but Maryland does not want to pull the trigger on this.
She's not on board.
She
Could be
knows
that.
so many lawsuits will come related to yak injuries that she can't.
That's right.
commit to it. It's just
Well, that's-
too much.
Okay, one more memory. I remember us doing the Defending the Faith, and Marilyn was the lawyer, and you, Kevin, you were the plaintiff, and then we were all witnesses and had to defend the faith, Christian faith. You like put baby powder in your hair to make yourself look older,
Yeah.
and
Very
So-
realistic.
so that's a memory. And she could be pretty, very tactful in her questioning.
She
So
uses
I-
things in like her discussions with our arguments like logic and facts, which are
Right.
Worse.
Where do you get that stuff?
Oh man. Well, thanks for having us. And
Sure.
I am a beaver still from
That's
Tahlequah,
right.
Oklahoma. Maybe you can get Andy Pancratz on to share some of those stories. But Matt, thanks for putting all this together. And Greg,
And
Yeah.
no
what a
problem.
great surprise and gift seeing you again. And Kevin,
Great
of
seeing you.
course.
Thanks, guys. Awesome to see you guys. Thank you very much. So have a good night.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks, guys. Good
Thanks,
night.
guys.
Bye.
Good seeing you.